I'm so lonely, broken angel. I'm so lonely.
Roberto Azevedo, welcome to Hardtalk. The WTO has been in existence for 23 years. Would you agree this is the toughest moment the WTO has faced?
If not the toughest, certainly one of the toughest. Yeah, for sure. Given the nature of the challenges before the system, where it comes from, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's really tough right now.
You face the reality of an American president who says the WTO has been a disaster, a catastrophe for the United States of America. That is a fundamental problem, isn't it?
I think the U.S. Clearly has difficulties with the system. They don't think that the system is perfect. I don't think any member of the WTO believes that the system is perfect. Everybody would like to see improvements. So that's part of life. We've been trying to accommodate these desires to improve the system, renegotiate things, update the systems, the disciplines. The world has been changing dramatically fast over the past few years. So we need to face that challenge.
But given what Donald Trump has said about the WTO, he clearly pays no heed right now to your guidance, advice, your role. And that surely makes a trade war, a global trade war, much, much more likely.
The U.S. has been engaging, regardless of all these rhetorical statements that we have seen. The reality is that we have conversations going on now in the WTO about, for example, electronic commerce. The U.S. has been very actively engaged, they have been praising, actually, those negotiations and saying that this is the way the WTO should be going.
But with respect, that's a detail. I mean, the big picture is that Donald Trump today is taking decisions which run entirely counter to what you want to see and pay no heed to the procedures of the World Trade Organization.
They don't. That's absolutely wrong. They just started, for example, a dispute against India, consultations with India about the export subsidies that India has been granting. Whether or not they're right, I don't know. That's part of the conversation.
Okay, but you've picked out a particular detail. But when Donald Trump slapped those tariffs on steel and aluminium imports and said, and I'm going to quote him, trade wars are good and easy for America to win, are you saying he did that in consultation with you?
I'm saying that the U.S. has every right, like every other member does, have a right to take actions regarding trade. And whatever.
But they're supposed to do it through the processes of the WTO. Was he doing that through your procedures?
It's very important. We don't know. I cannot tell. The Secretariat cannot tell whether a measure is consistent with the WTO obligations or not. Only a panel or the appellate body can do that. What you're saying is a detail is not a detail. It's a fundamental way of working in the organization. One is negotiations, the other one is dispute settlement. They're engaging in both.
Well, let me quote you your predecessor, Pascal Lamy. He said the other day that Donald Trump's view of global trade is medieval. Medieval. He said the only question right now is whether Donald Trump is really trying to wreck the entire system.
Well, you're quoting my predecessor, not quoting me. I never said that.
I know. So do you disagree with Pascal Lamy?
I don't have to agree or disagree. I mean, Pascal Lamy is perfectly entitled to have his views about what the position of the United States is. I deal with facts. The facts are that when I talk to the U.S. administration, we have been engaging. We are trying to find solutions. It's no secret that the United States would like to see changes in the WTO. That is no secret. The question is, what are those changes and what are the things that other members are willing to do in order to take on board those concerns?
It's also a question of how leaders around the world go about trying to engineer change that they want to see. And to quote one particular expert on world trade, Robert Scott at the Economic Policy Institute in Washington, D.C., he says this very bluntly: Donald Trump prefers to negotiate at the point of of a gun?
Well, every negotiator wants to increase his leverage. That is no secret. Whoever has been following, I'm sure that expert has been following trade negotiations and economic and financial negotiations over time. People want to increase their leverage. That's no surprise. Others will respond. My concern is when that kind of interaction, where you take an action or threaten to take an action, and somebody else threatens a response, and you are completely ignoring the consequences of that. That is what is
that what Donald Trump is doing today?
That is what I have been warning people to be careful about.
But is that what Donald Trump is doing today?
I don't know what he is doing. I have to ask him, not me.
You do know what he's doing.
No, I know what he has announced. He has announced. The purpose or the intention of those announcements is speculation. You can speculate as much as I can.
Well,
I'm so lonely, broken.